Good evening, everyone. Well, this is Carpo. I'm speaking from my rooftop. I'm laying on my roof, staring into the night sky, with my camera just around my neck, laying on my belly, a pipe and a lighter in my left hand, my right arm cocked slightly awkwardly, with my wrist holding up the back of my head and my knuckles upon the shingles, asphalt, granules. Your typical suburban 60s neighborhood, ranch-style homes. In the Portland area, so we get a decent amount of stars, but definitely not the night sky we get an hour east of here, or west. But beautiful nonetheless. And as I lay here staring into the night sky, hoping to catch a glimpse of a shooting star, all types of fantasies and ideas of meteors landing in my yard or discovering great things occur to me. Being human means being able to fantasize about life, about exciting things. But at the same time, being totally content with where I am. I have no attachment or desire to find these great riches or, discover anything in particular. But they're fun to think about. The what ifs. The other night I came out here and it's been a meteor shower for the last month, and it was clear for a moment, and I said, I'd like to see a meteor. And I sat here and I looked over into the sky, the direction I'm looking now, towards the northeast. I saw this fireball come out from the northeast all the way over to the northwest. It was a good 2 seconds, and it left a visible smoke trail afterwards, just after sunset. It was like a cloud, and it's just one of those magnificent moments. Being able to see the trail left by a shooting star is, it's only the second or third time that's happened. But when my friend and I went camping about a month ago, we ate mushrooms and just basically laid in our sleeping bags and stared at the sky from sundown till sunup. No fire. We were basically pirateized, which the old story goes that the pirates would wear a patch over their eye, not because their eye got gouged out or anything, but rather because they could navigate better at night. When they had a patch over one eye, then during the day their eye would become more sensitive, then at night they could navigate. Now perhaps that's an old wives' tale, who knows? Point being, it makes sense. And likewise, when you finally laid out under the stars for a couple hours, no matter where you're at, your eyes adjust and it becomes a whole new world. You can see at least twice the stars you normally see. So by about 3 or 4 a.m. we had seen so many shooting stars it blew my mind. However, the other night, just the few that I just saw here were large enough to, in their own right, be amazing. But anyway, I'm talking about shooting stars because they're celestial events, and I'm utterly fascinated by celestial events of any form. Especially eclipses. Eclipses are one of the most fascinating things to me, but there are a couple different types of eclipses. And, of course, not just lunar and solar, but within a solar eclipse, there are 2 different types. I can't remember the specific names for them. I think it's like the parabellum, peribrium, some kind of name for it, where the moon doesn't quite cover the sun, but if it's at the right distance, it completely covers the sun. So not every eclipse, even if it's perfectly covering, is a full eclipse because of a small perimeter that remains on the sun. But anyway, it shows the perfection of the alignment of the spheres, the perfection of the spheres. and the significance of such awesome things to happen, and how fortunate we are that we live in a day and age where every average citizen can know when the next celestial event will be, when the meteor showers will be. You know. Some people just don't want to look up, and I don't understand that. How could you not? I mean, how could you not be fascinated with the entirety of it? And you know, as I sit here and think about it, it makes sense. I understand now why. Because it's scary. And it brings me back to a video I was listening to earlier. When my friend and I took that mushroom trip and we were camping, I remember for a portion of the beginning of the experience, or the peak, I turned my camera on and hit record for about 15 minutes. And there were a couple of mumblings and jokes and whatnot, and short little parts of a discussion. But right towards the end of the recording, there was this one whole part where we started kind of discussing the humor of the universe, and how, when people say, "Can't you see the corruption, in the world?" All I can say is, "Can't you see the beauty in that corruption?" And then there was this line that I was talking to him, and I said, to me, on one hand, it's sad that some people believe that the moon is a hologram, and that the sky is an illusion or a projection of some sort, some kind of like grand conspiracy or plan. But I understand why subconsciously people want to believe that. It's the same reason people want to believe that the world is completely controlled and that everything is organized and planned. It's because somebody has to be in control. Or rather, so many people want to believe someone is in control or steering the ship, or that something is steering the ship. It would be the God complex, perhaps the Messiah complex, the idea that God has something in store for each person and that each life is important in its own way. Perhaps it is, perhaps it isn't. But yes, everything happens for a reason, of course, because it happens. But believing that space is an illusion not only compounds the problem of what existence is, but more than that, it's a way of hiding ourselves from the truth, which is that some things just can't be known. But looking into space, how can you not be utterly just blown away by the complexity of it? In other words, the truth is always stranger than fiction. Just as I was speaking, I've been watching these two stars and this satellite. I noticed one of them was a satellite, and it was moving, and I've been watching it move away. And then I suddenly realized I was watching the wrong one. It was actually the other one moving away. Interesting. Or maybe they're both moving. It's an amazing world out there. The longer you stare, the more you see. The more you see, the more you want to see. Every single time I look at any individual star, it's almost like I'm just blown away by complexity. Just the amazing nature of it all. What is it all? Why is it all? It's a laughable thing to even try to understand it. I'm staring at the Big Dipper. It looks just like my pipe. In which I have loaded a nice big bowl of cannabis topped with some really nice hash. And when I started making this video, I was going to kind of get around to the point that it's a luxury to be able to lay out here under the stars. Even in my little noisy corner of the city. Even with my limited view of the sky pollution. It's an honor to be able to sit here under the great sky, the all. This creation, this existence. I don't care to debate with people anymore what life is all about, as far as whether it was created, divinely inspired, whether there's a blueprint or some sort of cosmic mind or force, or whether it's all just here by chance, or Darwinism or anti-Darwinism. It's all just fodder for the cause, for me, it has no purpose in my life anymore to argue it, because there's people that know and there's people that don't. And everyone else in between. When you feel in your heart that you know that the truth is bigger than yourself, then you just humble yourself to all of it. And those of you out there who know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the ineffable, the unnameable, the Zen, the great mystery, the everything with a capital T, truth, existence. I don't like to pretty it up or try to mystify it. It's something that we all share. Nobody owns it. It's that feeling. It's that moment where you say something to someone and they whisper something back, and it's that moment where you're walking down a trail and you trip over a root, stub your toe. It's that moment where you turn out the lights just before you go to bed. It's that moment where your power's out and you wonder how long it's going to be till it comes back on. It's that moment when you pull out a blade of grass and wonder if it hurt the lawn to do so. Well, as soon as I said pull out a blade of grass there, a very nice shooting star just shot over the sky. I know it was in the frame of the camera, but I'm sure the camera probably didn't capture it just because it's not focused. But be assured that it happened. It was a beautiful sight. Not the largest shooting star I've seen, but definitely a pretty good sized one. And then I ask myself, what does the universe want when it, when things like that happen? Anyway, I just wanted a shooting star while I made my video, and I got it, and I thought I'd share a few of my thoughts. So now I'm going to take a couple more tokes and get down off the roof and go back in the house and enjoy my evening. Y'all do the same. Take care.